Good either way. I'm totally good either way.
To High Vibrational Mastery, where we are raising the vibration of the planet one soul at a time. My name is C. Megan Michael. I am a seer, a seeker, a visionary, and a medium. Every Sunday, I present to you spiritual thought leaders from around our world and beyond. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to bring forward today an amazing spiritual thought leader that many of you have asked me to bring forward and present on my show. Hang on one second. This is spiritual medium. I want to get his titles correct. Spiritual medium and intuitive life coach, William Michael Forbes. And I want you to please join me in welcoming William Michael Forbes.
Wow. Thank you, Megan. I really appreciate that. Wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so excited that you're here. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to do is start sharing it out. I will send you a link. Let me take a look. Let me just go to High Vibrational Mastery. And I guess in the beginning, I usually in the beginning, but let me see if I'm drawn to do it that way. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to first let me share the link with you so that you can share it. And then after... Wonderful. And then I'll just chat for a minute. And then when you're done sharing, whoa, okay, there it is. And then I will go ahead and ask you how, like, your whole backstory, which I think is fascinating. And while you're doing that, I will share. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm messaging this.
Awesome.
I haven't heard that in a while. Awesome blossom. All right. I didn't email it. I messaged it to you on Facebook.
I thought that. Just give me a few moments to share it out, and we'll get down and funky with everybody.
Absolutely. Take your time. Hello, Kim McElwain. Hello. And Kim Siegel. Love you. Hello, Marcus Hanna, who says hello, everyone. And Marnie Lynn, who is sharing, who is tagging everybody like Shannon. And thank you, Marnie Lynn. Thank you. And welcome. Danielle, our awesome assistant. My assistant and moderator for High Vibrational Mastery, Danielle Riverin. Thank you very much for being with us today, Danielle. Thank you very much, Kim, for sharing. I love you guys. Yeah, Danielle is one of the many people that said, you got to have William Michael Forbes. She watches you every single day or every day that you're on. I mean, yeah.
Daniel, you got some beautiful people that watch your show as well. They're amazing souls. I mean, everybody that's in this movement of raising the vibration of the planetary consciousness is a wonder in themselves.
It's true. That's I call them my co-creators, because I couldn't do, and you couldn't. I couldn't do what I do if they weren't here to do this with me. And just because I'm the one on the camera, that's only because I'm drawn to do it, and that's my calling to do it. But that doesn't make me any more important than anybody else. We are all co-creating this new Earth together. I don't know. Didn't mean to go on a rant there, but
absolutely. Every human being. I always say that every single human being is like a cell in a divine body that works together.
Oh,
we all function as individual cells in this incredible body of consciousness called humanity, and then that's another cell in a body of consciousness called the divine, and so on. Pretty amazing. So we got, we're all in this together.
That's beautiful. I'm actually visualizing it as you're saying that, and I'm like, oh, that's expansive. That's huge. Love it. All right, did you already share it?
That's all. I'm ready to go. Anytime let's get down and have some fun and share some vibes, and receive some vibes. Right. And awesome.
I am excited about everything. And hello, Dad, and hello, universe. Literally, my clock says 7:17 because, I told you mine is ahead, but that's my number for my dad and the universe. So excellent sign, synchronicity. So let me ask you first about, and I'm going to ask you, as I said, about, how you got started, but I read your about. All right. I read your about, and I was very surprised to hear that, that we have a similar thing in our past, which I think is going to be more common than I ever imagined, where you were suicidal and you had an experience where you were standing on the edge of a bridge. It's called a precipice. And you were going to jump, and then something happened. So I don't mean to shock everybody, but it's on your about. So would you be kind enough to start there and then catch us up, and I'll be sharing it out to
Absolutely. That's going back about 40 years when I was just 20 years of age, and I had just become homeless. I was an emotional wreck. I couldn't differentiate between my thoughts and the rest of the world. And I felt like I had absolutely no value. So I was going to jump off a bridge here in Toronto called the Bloor Viaduct. And I climbed up on the ledge of the bridge, and I was leaning my foot out, and a voice said, "Stop. get down, go to the payphone, call this phone number, ask for this man, he will help you. And I'm looking around to try and see who's talked to me. There's nobody there. A couple of cars are honking their horns because I'm up on the ledge of the bridge, but I decided to get down and go to the payphone. So I literally picked up the payphone. I remember the number today, 461-1811. And I dialed that number and I asked for the man, who was a guy named Terry O'Brien then. And I asked for him, and he was the one that answered the phone. I said, "Is this Terry O'Brien?" Anyway, that he ended up giving me a job, a place to stay, let me move in with his family. That changed my life. He just gave me one book. But that voice changed my life, and I got so caught up in my own fear of what other people were thinking about what I said. Because the first thing I said to him, I said, "A voice told me to come and call you." And he just laughed at me, and I just felt really embarrassed. So I just shoved that away and accepted the gift that he gave me at the home and a job. And that stayed in the back seat for many years before I realized that they were guiding me. That was my guardian angel, John. I now know that today, of course. But that was an amazing experience to actually have that as part of my starting point that led me to where I am right now. And everybody has that. Everybody has that to ask and receive, right? And sometimes it'll come when you least expect it.
Absolutely. Okay, wait. So I didn't realize that you didn't. Okay, somehow in my magical story, in my mind, I thought, like you said, an angel told me this, and he said, "That's, high five on that." So that wasn't what happened. Did he even wonder how he got his number? And
I didn't. When you were 20 years old and you're on the edge of suicide, you're emotional wreck. There's a different type of thinking process than I have right now.
Totally.
My mind is that, like, how come I didn't put it together? Why didn't I stay with that voice? Why didn't I ask more questions? But again, you're living in a three-dimensional world at that time, believing that I have no value, and suddenly somebody says, "Hey, this person will help you," and I just went with it as I've learned to do with many things in my life. But it was pretty profound to me.
Oh my gosh, it's huge. It's huge. It's huge. So I'm still sharing it. So yeah, please continue. I had to clarify that because I just think it's amazing. And I'm sure all of our beautiful co-creators here are saying, "What?"
That was the first time an actual voice spoke to me that I could actually say I heard a voice speak to me. But I didn't make the connection that the voice was an angel. I didn't make that connection that it was another. I could not make that connection from the place I was emotionally in my life then. Of course, now it's a different thing. And of course, we can lead people to perceive that reality, even if they're in very difficult times with what we've learned. But it's important to understand that for me, that was life-changing. And again, it took another 30 years before I began to actually think that other realities actually existed. And then another few years after that, in fact, just a few years ago, when I actively began to communicate and talk to the angels, the guides, non-dimensional beings, interdimensional beings from other planets, people that aren't in their bodies anymore, because we don't die. We just leave our physical medium of expression, as you know, right?
Absolutely. I love that. So when I first became aware of you, you had just graduated a channeling course. And I don't even know if I think I was doing my show yet. I was still trying to figure out, I was actually thinking, gosh, I wish I could be in that class because I want to learn how to channel too. That's where I was at the time. That's how long ago it was. But it wasn't that long ago at the same time, because I realized like your journey, my journey, and how it is now, things are moving so fast that when you just give it up to spirit and you're like, "Hey, I'm open." And then and look where you are now. So that was just like a few years ago, right?
Yeah, it was about 2 years and almost 2 years to the day ago when I took a course with a woman named Kristen Davies. You might know her, a medium, Kristen Davies. I took a course with her, and then my wife and I, after that course, went out to Newfoundland, and it was in the mountains of Grossmorn in Newfoundland that her mother, who had passed away a week before, suddenly started talking to me while we're driving down the highway. And so I get this voice saying, "I am the mother. I am the mother." And I turned to Norman. I said, "Somebody's here. They're saying they are the mother." And then they said, "I got to pull over." So I pulled over, and then it turns out this was Norma's mother, and they had this 45-minute conversation with each other about the transition, why things had happened the way they had in the previous 4 years, and there's a whole bunch of amazing things happen, and that basically opened up a floodgate, because from that point on, I started meeting fairies and gnomes and Master Jesus and Buddha, and they just started coming and coming and coming once that gateways opened up. And then we were told to create our own courses, which have a level 1, level 2, and a level 3 program to gradiate people from getting introduced to the non-physical realms as an energy, and then getting familiar with how to actually sense who is who, how is how, and then how to actually articulate what they're communicating to us all the time, because they're communicating with us all the time. Everybody's being communicated. It's whether or not we have the ears inside us to hear or the eyes inside us to see, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, okay, so I wanted to ask you, because you do not call yourself a channeler, and so I want to understand. But it's my perception. I'm like, oh, he channels. So, can you please explain what your perception is, the difference between a channeler and a medium?
Well, it was my guardian angel John that said I was to use the term medium as opposed to channeler. He said there's too many third dimensional associations with the concept of channeling that aren't ground enough. But when you say you're a medium, it makes more sense because you're actually a medium for information from one medium to another.
Right. So you're the one in between, right? Like the spirit, right? You're the medium in the middle.
So yeah. I'm mediating messages from one dimension to another, from one soul to another, from one being to another. And it's like I said, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And reality is we all have that innate ability to do that too. That's really the other thing is that. But yeah, I prefer the term medium to channeler. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So what is the verb? What is the verb to be that? So you are mediating? Is that what you use? Mediating, or
I mediate information from that other dimensional realm to this dimensional realm. So I'm being the medium between two points of time and space, or non-time and space sometimes.
Okay, now this is my first time I'm absorbing it, because this is my first time because I study transmedium. I'm new, like 8 months into it, transmediumship, and at the same time I always say that I'm channeling spirit because I know but at the same time I wasn't really sure what the difference was, if there was a difference, and I guess it really is just the perception of it. But I like what you're saying; it's resonating with me. You're mediating the information between the two dimensions. I like that.
Again, this is what I was told to use, that term. Other people can use channeler. Other people use spiritual, whatever they want, whatever term works for that individual. But medium is what I was told to call myself predominantly.
I understand. And you know what's interesting? I was specifically told my name is seer, seeker, visionary. And then when I started mediumship, they're like, and medium, see Megan Michael. And I thought, well, that's different. And okay. So I get it when spirit tells you this is what you do, this is the name of your business. And so
I got to say, when you speak, you're such a powerful channel yourself. Just the intensity of the energy that you project through the medium of your voice box. Where the place that's coming from is like, I'd like to sit there and have cocktails with you sometime at that dimension. That's got to be pretty amazing up there, right? It literally comes through on such an intensity. And I'm so grateful. Like I said, I could just sit and listen to your voice for hours. If you give me a looping tape, I'll sit and just get high on that.
Wow. Thank you. No one's ever said that to me before. And it's, you know how like it is, some of our greatest strengths we used to think were our biggest weaknesses. And I literally was put into speech class when I was a child because I had a lisp, and then people would tell me I talk too fast and whatever. That goes. Well, maybe you don't exactly, but anyway, thank you. I'm very honored. I'm honored that you connect with my voice on that level, and that spirit.
Well, I'm sure a lot of your viewers do too, that they feel that essential connection to purity, to kindness, to truth. Because that's really what this time is about right now. We're in a time of truth, integrity, wisdom, love, frequencies that don't have us functioning as animals anymore, as just body minds. We're now functioning as spiritual entities through a physical medium now. And yeah, voice is very powerful for that.
Well, thank you very much. I want to get back to focusing on you, but I could listen to you talk about that a little longer, but not today. Because I'm really honored and I'm fascinated by hearing you say that. I want to talk about, you had what do I want to call it? Well, what did you call it? An experience the other day that you shared with the world about a crop circle that just appeared last Monday, I believe, in Munich, Germany. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's funny that happened. As you know, I do a daily show 3 times Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And on the Friday, a week ago, Friday just passed, they had come through to me and said that there's going to be some huge changes happening on the planet. in the next 8 to 10 weeks. Well, now 7 to 9 weeks now. And so they said, be prepared because you're going to be delivering all kinds of new information. And so literally the following Monday, I get this message from one of our students saying, we've just discovered a crop circle in Ammersee, Germany. It just appeared on Sunday night. And so they said, okay, you've got to set this up. You've got to share the energy of this crop circle with everybody. So I got together with the 2 students plus 2 of our student teachers, and the 4 of us had the one student in Ammersee, Germany, walking us physically through the crop circle, tapping into the energy, and then each of us were channeling the energies that the beings, the Adamics, had put through into the earth. They literally put this vibration through this crop circle into the earth to talk about how our planet is now being engulfed in a massive toroidal field to balance it and strengthen it and help humanity move from 3-dimensional consciousness to 4th and 5th dimensional consciousness, which is about light, love, peace, compassion, the higher frequencies that we all need to evolve to end our suffering as a species. So we had her walking through that for literally a whole hour. The 3 of us were channeling, and she was walking us through it, and we were talking about the information that these guides, these beings that are coming from many dimensions here. I mean, there's angels, there's guides, there's multidimensional beings, there's the Pleiadians, there's the Adamics, there's the Lyrans. So many beings are literally here to assist humanity as a collective whole and as individuals to raise ourselves up, to literally raise ourselves up to a frequency of consciousness that will enable us to work harmoniously together without any form of gameplay, the old paradigm of pain and suffering, leader, follower. You know, that time is over for humanity. It's time to work from a different platform.
Fantastic. So the crop circle. All right. So this is so you're saying all these different entities from different dimensions. So the galactic, yes, the angelic realm. Yes. Now, did they all create this circle? I'm kind of fascinated by the circle itself for the moment. I know there's a bigger picture, but I'm still fascinated by crop circles, about like the energy. I've heard there's like very fantastic energy in crop circles. Also, did they explain? It's going to sound silly, I think, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. How they make them? I'm just going to put it out there.
That's a great, I'm glad, because that question was asked the evening, because we had people asking questions, and the answer that they gave, they said they use different light wave frequencies to direct the consciousness. In this case, it was the consciousness of, I think it was wheat. So they use a particular white light frequency that redirects, it re-instructs the consciousness of the wheat to bend and shape and form into the precise configurations that they're directing through this light. So the light actually organizes these crop circles. That's why they're so precise. And what was really cool, when they zoom in on where it's flattened over, mm-hmm, these strands of wheat are not broken. They're bent over. They're not cracked. They're literally bent over with no break in them. And so they've literally instructed the consciousness in these life forms to create that shape, to communicate a 3-dimensional message and a 4th and 5th dimensional vibrational energy to those who are able to vibrate to it and feel it and receive it. So we had everybody, we'd put the picture of the crop circle up on the wall, and we had everybody going in it. We did a breathing meditation around it. It was pretty amazing. But every crop circle is information that's being imparted, not just from the Adamics, but from the Lyrans and the Pleiadians, and there's many of them putting their unique energy into the process of helping the human collective consciousness move up. So again, sometimes you want to eat an apple, sometimes you need an orange, right? So one might put that vibration, another put this vibration. It's all designed to help us. Just like, if you have to eat certain foods to make your body healthy, well, you need certain vibrations to make your soul awaken and expand and open up and connect to who you truly are and disassociate from being fragmented and separate through the 5 physical senses. So it was really exciting to have them communicate that they use light, different types of light, to instruct the different patterns to show up according to the information they're trying to communicate to us. Does that make sense?
It resonates with every cell in my body, every part of it, all the energy that I am, it resonates. And I've always wanted to know the answer to that. And I've seen documentary after documentary. I've seen them, they're bent over, they're not broken. I'm aware of that. And I felt like it was frequency of some kind, because everything is, right? But I didn't know it was light. I thought maybe it was sound. It was light frequency.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to, but I've just sent to you in Messenger the exact crop circle that we're speaking about right now. I just sent it to you in Facebook Messenger.
I'm going to put that up there in just a second. Okay, give me one moment while
I
mean, you can keep talking. I'm sorry, but I'm going to I want to bring it up to show everybody. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's really, because remember, they're not just symbols of information. They're vibrational frequencies that are imparted to a physical medium, much the same way right now. You and I are having this communication, and we're speaking in language called words. But embedded in the vibration of these words are higher frequencies that are impulses from our soul, from our spirit, from the other beings that are working through us. There is other information besides the physical words that you're hearing with your ears or interpreting with your brain. So yeah, so that crop circle was actually 47 kilometers west of Munich, Germany, and it appeared a week ago today exactly. So it was a week ago tonight that appeared in Ammersee, Germany. And like I said, it's been an amazing thing to actually see somebody there live and walk the audience through the process of. You can see the intricacy at ground level of how each of these lines and cuts and twists and turns are meticulously and articulate. There's no way a human being could have done that in a few hours. That actual crop circle is 100 meters across. And I haven't got the details on this, but there are mathematical configurations in there that validate that is a symbol for a toroidal energy that's now engulfing Earth and the inner solar planets. So it's really pretty cool.
That's absolutely incredible. So all of us right now that are looking at this, are we being activated in some way? There's something happening because we're observing it. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the fact that
even if you're not a spiritually awakened person, even if you're not thinking that there's another dimension besides the one you have with 5 senses, there's a vibration there that has an indelible effect on your subjective consciousness. In much the same way as a subliminal information can be imparted through a medium, right? Well, this, for the average person that doesn't recognize more than the 5 physical senses, that will make a net shift in their subjective field, which will allow them to have a different awareness unfold when they're ready to receive that. But it'll be put in their neural architecture once they experience the vibration from it.
In their neural architecture. Is that what you just said?
That's what I said. Yeah. In other words, it's stored in the molecules of the brain, and it will have an effect. Much the same way as you can put a single drop of water in a clear glass. You might not see that color, like a drop of blue dye in a glass of water. Yeah. That one drop, you won't see the difference right away, but it's there. Even if you're not aware of it, that difference is there. So just looking at that will create a shift energetically within your consciousness, whether you're aware of it or not. And that's one of the beautiful things about bringing these beings through, these energies and these messages through. We don't have to be attached to whether or not you're going to get it, because it's inevitable that a part of you eventually will, in the time and the way that's right for you to unfold that or integrate that into your conscious awareness or your soul perception.
Thank you. Wow. Amazing. I'm going to remove that from the screen for now. That's incredible. Maybe we'll bring it back after. I feel like, I don't know. We'll you know how it goes. We go with the flow. And I know you guys must have a gazillion questions, and I promise you we're going to get there too. I don't know why Be Live is not showing the comments tonight at all, but that happens sometimes. So that's what's happening there. So in case I'm not commenting on your comments, it's because we can't see them. But I'm looking for you.
There might be a lag. I've noticed this recently with Be Live too, and I actually spoke to them about it. There is a technical issue that they are working out. There's a lag between what's being presented in the comments, because I ended a live stream last week, and suddenly when I ended, all the comments that were there, dozens and dozens of comments suddenly appeared. So yeah, please.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they'll get that sorted out in another week or so.
All right, let me take a look. So I'm looking on Facebook directly, and I'm saying, and I think I'm seeing the same. I'm seeing the same things that I saw when we really first began. So there really is some kind of let me see if there's anything newer. Okay, no, we're just going to keep going, but just know, guys, we love you, and I don't see any of your recent comments yet. But I trust Spirit will bring them up when they're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, please. So you have stated, let me get it right. Hold on. Okay. So the question is that, can people learn to intentionally alter their DNA? And I feel that you have the answer to this question.
Well, I'm not the only one who answers, but yes, absolutely. From my own experience, I can speak that yes, we can alter and influence and affect our DNA. The challenge that most people have in grasping that concept is that DNA is very small, and the molecules that you organize with your thought are very small. And a lot of people think that if I just have this thought, it's going to happen, and that does happen sometimes if there's no resistance. But your actual physical DNA, I mean, I think the thought to this hand open and close. There's my DNA, my nervous system reacting and responding. Now, can I change the way this system functions? Recently, I had a rash appear on my lower legs, which surprised me because I'm very healthy. And so I asked my guys name what it was. They said, go into what it was. And I found out that it was an emotional energy stored from the time I was age 2. And they said, well, if you want to, I said, well, what do I do about that? And they said, what you want to do is learn how to release the emotion underlying the physical condition. And once you release the emotion underlying the physical condition, the body will reorganize itself to the way that it's in alignment with the releasing of that energy. So I did. I released the irritation and the rage that was connected to that from the 2-year-old, and literally the rash just vanished. Like over the next couple of days, it just vanished. So my DNA received structure. Once you change an emotional vibration, your DNA begins to change instantly. Your DNA begins to change. If you can hold a sustained change in your consciousness, your DNA will reorganize itself. If the emotion is sustained long enough, DNA will reorganize itself. And there's a gentleman in Australia who was in a wheelchair for 25 years, paralyzed from the waist down. And a doctor got in touch with him and started to teach him how to reprogram the DNA to repair the body so he could walk and run. So we got him into visualization and doing all kinds of intense things, getting really excited and emotional. And over that 1-year period, he went from being paraplegic after 25 years, because his big goal was to walk down the beach with his wife again. Okay. And so literally at the end of the year, and you can go on YouTube and search for man walks after 25 years, he rewrote his DNA. So the body now runs and walks again. So you can give new instruction to the consciousness of the body, and it'll reorganize itself to the most dominant emotional energy you have, whether it's a negative emotion or a positive emotion. The DNA in your body will follow the consistent instructions you give to it on a moment-to-moment basis. But a lot of people will start wanting to fix their body or get over a disease, but they don't hold on to the emotional state long enough to get the results. So they try for a day or a week or a month, and it might take 6 months or a year, but they only try for a short time. They don't get results. They give up. But if you stay with a sustained idea, energetically and emotionally long enough, the DNA in your body will begin to reorganize itself to that vibration. It has no choice. My hand does that for me because I think it to. Your DNA does exactly the same thing, but you've got to learn to give it instructions long enough. Little born babies born can't do this. If you look at little babies, their hands are just kind of like this. They have to be programmed so they can train and instruct the physical mechanism to carry out those commands. And that took a period of time, teaching a child to hold a fork or tie a shoe. The DNA has to receive consistent, repeated emotional and mental information in order for it to direct the cellular consciousness to function in a very precise and specific manner. But most people give up because they don't believe that they hold on to it long enough, or they get caught up in fear and their fear takes them back again, because fear will instruct your DNA as easily as joy will, right? Joy will make your body, fear will make your body. You're giving your DNA instructions all of the time. The question is, do you want to be conscious of it or not? So I've learned, my personal experience was breaking my right heel bone into 4 separate pieces and tearing all the ligaments and ankle tendons from the ankle bone down. And I literally was given a book by my mentor. He said, just tell the body what you want it to do. So I literally spent a week in hospital instructing all the bones and the nerves and the tendons and the ligaments to begin to reconnect. At the end of the week, they couldn't tell where the breaks in the bones were. Wow. At the end of 3 weeks, the foot specialist then said to me, what are you doing? Everything's reconnecting, because normally it was like a 2-year process because they can't even connect the tendons and ligaments because they'll pull the bones apart. They have to actually wait until the bone is so well healed they can start connecting tendons and ligaments, and then it restructures. But the consciousness in the body followed the instructions that were given to it with a highly charged, powerful emotional state sustained over a 3-week period in this case. And so at the end of the 3rd week, he pulled the pin out of the back of my foot. And at the end of the 4th week, I walked to the hospital and he just shook his head and said, "That's absolutely amazing." And I said, "Yeah, it is amazing what this consciousness will do when we ask it." And Master Jesus says it all the time. He says, "Ask and you shall receive." But most people don't ask long enough, therefore they won't receive. Right? So anyway, that's the simplest way I can do it. There are beings on the planet now. I think we were talking about Joe Dispenza earlier today.
Yes.
He's done remarkable work in articulating the science behind it. I mean, he's proven it scientifically. He's got instruments that measure that process, and that's really great for people that want to really know that they know that believe that the physical world is the only way they can comprehend reality as being true or false.
Right.
I know I don't need my body to know what's true or false. I know I can know from what I know. But yeah,
he healed his own back, because I remember, I know his story. I mean, I've heard him talk about his story where he was and he was in I don't know if he was crippled. I don't remember the details, but I remember he was saying he healed his own vertebrae. Sounded a whole lot like what you're talking about, but you've experienced it firsthand. Oh my God.
Right. Well, and when I heard him describe his story, I went, finally, there's somebody else that's had that experience, and he's done the science behind it to prove what I've been telling people for 40 years, right? Or 30 years. This is what happens when we think a thought long enough with enough emotion, the form has to follow. And it does all the time. I mean, you're watching television, you can watch a TV and something really amazing is happening on TV and you find you're going, yeah. Your nervous system is being altered by that television show. And yet we have the ability to become our own effector to the nervous system and literally stop letting the world around us direct our consciousness and start becoming self-directed from within, right? That's where we are, going within to manifest without. Life is meant to happen for us, not to us, literally.
Exactly.
So very fascinating. Yeah, very fascinating stuff.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my gosh. I literally forgot what I was going to ask because I'm so, okay, I know what I was going to ask. So do you need, so let's say it is a spine or a foot. Do you need to know your anatomy? Do you need to visualize it in detail coming back together again? Do you need to understand how it works? Or can you visualize the idea of it? And do you see where I'm going with that?
That's a beautiful question. That's a really, really good question. It's twofold. In my case, I used to need the visuals of it. Because I'm a visualizer, right? I used to be a real dominant visual. Now as I can feel, but you can do it visually, but you can also feel it. If you go into a feeling of like vitality and health, and you can feel that, you can't help but feel your body responding to that. And that's the key. When you can get an idea and add an energy to it and allow that energy to come down into your body, the body responds and reacts to it if the energy and the emotion are sustained and amplified enough. And I like your audience is watching. If I start laughing my ass off right now, really hard, if I start laughing, people out there are going to be picking that up. And it's an energy. Now, what happens when you, instead of it being something out there directing you, you're on the inside, you've got pancreatitis and you want to heal that. Well, you can go in and feel it. Start giving the pancreas an intentional energy of vitality, like literally direct that feeling into it and watch what happens. We've had students that hadn't been able to walk properly in 10 years, and now they're going from blocks down the street, and they're thrilled and they're alive and vital because the body is an instrument. It's not who you are, and it will follow instructions given to it consistently and repeatedly with a highly charged emotional state. And it's elegant simplicity at its best. Literally, ask and you shall receive. I'm not my body, neither are you. It's just something we use while we're functioning and expressing through this physical medium. And once you start seeing people getting empowered with the reality that, wow, I can actually turn to my tennis elbow, I can actually turn to it and start going into a feeling of joy and gratitude and appreciation and holding that image of it moving and working and if they keep holding that energy long enough, the system has to respond. It has no choice. You can watch a TV show. Everybody, your whole audience knows this. They've watched shows. We all have watched shows where we get excited, shows where we get scared. We can be influenced by that, or we can do the same thing from within. We can literally go, I'm vital. I'm strong. I'm powerful. I'm free. Every organ in my body is beautiful. We can do that, or we can have somebody say, sir, you might have a problem there. We can buy whatever belief you want.
That's right.
We are free at this time in our species evolution to now create consciously and deliberately,
yes,
or not. And this is the time. This is why all this information and knowledge has come through, because you are a divine being. Everybody on this physical dimension is a divine being functioning through a physical medium. And when the physical medium is not necessary anymore, you will still exist. Whether or not you're conscious of existing is another thing, but you will still exist. You're not your body. You're not your mind. You're the awareness that has a mind and has a body, and you can direct it and reorganize it to be whatever you need it to be in this physical dimension, right? Pretty cool.
100%. And, I don't know. I know a lot of my viewers know that I had stage 4 lymphoma, was diagnosed with a few years ago, and I healed myself from that. I mean, I did have 6 months of chemo, but that's not a healing thing. That's a let me kill you slowly with this medicine. But I did, and I still have the whiteboards on my refrigerator that say, I am healthy, I am healed, I feel great. I would sit down and I would talk to my spleen. I nicknamed her Spleeny. I would not let them remove her. I talked to, just like you're saying, all my organs, and I'm like, I love you, and you're so healthy. And yeah, that was honestly the pivotal point in my own awakening.
Wow, I can totally feel that. I'm getting goosebumps and shivers. That you got so many guides and angels working with you that you've been now able to share that truth to people and empower them to do the same. Because we did not come here to suffer. We came here in joy and in trust. Right? We didn't come here to suffer. Nobody came here to suffer, but we learned how to do that. Right? And we get to unlearn.
Yes.
Wow, that must have been quite a journey for you.
It was an incredible journey, but what's interesting, that's not interesting, but so I was also diagnosed even before that with rheumatoid arthritis, and I just ignored that totally, but it was affecting my hands, and the fact that I still had fear. Recently, I still had fear behind it, and I'm like, why, Spirit? I can cure myself of cancer, but why do I have this? And I don't want that. And literally, like I released the fear or whatever, and now I've been doing Tai Chi, which I really strongly believe is going to be and I'm healing them. They're changing. I'm like, as you're talking about it, I'm like, you're talking about the hands too. I'm like, oh, this is so for me.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a funny thing about emotion. We store emotion in our body. Every emotion we've ever had, every emotion we've received gets stored in the body, and it stays there until we either release it or transform it from one state to another. And that process that you're talking about, that we're talking about right now, is literally taking a state of energy, whether it's a lymphoma or whether it's a broken foot. We're taking that energy and altering it from one state of being into another. And that's exactly what we're doing. And we're changing the emotional energy that's there. We're changing an emotion. So, most dysfunctions in body are emotions that have been stored long term that show up to be healed and corrected. We teach people a really simple process when they got pain in their body to help remove pain almost instantly.
Really?
And that is to actually become aware of the pain. And instead of most people when they feel pain, they want to get rid of it. Take my pill. Most people want to get rid of their pain, and we say no. You actually want to go into the pain, and you want to use a very simple mantra. We give them a very simple mantra to use towards the pain. Is simply say this: you communicate to the pain, the suffering, whatever it is you're dealing with this mantra in a very specific tone of voice that sounds like you mean it. So let's say I got a pain in my hand. I'm going, now I feel the pain. I turn my attention. I go, no matter what I've thought or felt or believed about you, I'm willing to love you, even if I don't understand you. And you go so deeply into the vibration that you're directing that vibration of love and acceptance. Even if you don't understand why the pain's there, the suffering's there, you're just extending that energy in a tone, an energy of sincerity. And that energy of sincerity begins the process of transforming the energy from one state to another. Much the same way as you can take this water and put it into the freezer. The water doesn't have to do anything. The freezing will freeze it. So the power of your voice, the energy of your voice, that I love you, will change the energy of the suffering into I love you.
Absolutely. Reminds me of the Dr. Emoto, right? With the rice and the water. The water. Fantastic. This whole conversation is just fantastic. Let's see I can see some comments now. So let's take a look. Thank you, Danielle. You're doing a great job. Let's see. So Vaughn is saying, I will heal my traumas to the love and light I want to stop crippling myself and hang on, I'm trying to read it. It's kind of stuck in there. Over myself and overly obsessing in my emotions. In Jesus' name, I will be at peace. Excellent. Now, let me ask you this, because I know a lot of times. So, okay? So, when somebody wants to, so you're telling them you're saying to tune in to the pain. Are you addressing the issue? Like the diagnosis, like doctor says you have a wart on your foot, whatever. I mean, are you focusing on that, or you're just tuning into the feeling? You're just tuning into the feeling and just expressing your love, charging your, that's what I'm feeling now.
You're accessing, okay, you got the symptom of pain. So you got a hurt on the body. You access, you know where the pain is, but you want to go into what emotion is represented by that pain. What emotion is that pain? That pain might be anger you stored there. That pain might be shame. That pain might be guilt. It doesn't matter. Once you can identify what the emotion is, well, then you can go directly to the emotion. If it's a part that's angry and you're communicating the love, have you ever had somebody come up to you when they're upset, they're upset and you come up and you start to care about, is everything okay? They begin to shift and change because they can feel your compassion and your caring. Well, the molecules in your body will do the exact same thing. So once you identify the emotion, you don't have to go back. I think it's a real waste of time to try and go back and recover those old memories. I think it's just, you're experiencing that pain right now. Transform the anger, the guilt, the shame, the irritation, the frustration, whatever that emotion that's stored in that part of the body. You literally just want to transform the energy. Once the energy is changed, it doesn't matter where it came from.
I agree with you. I love the way that you said that, because I know there are a lot of modalities that directly have them go back. People go back into the past and focus on the trauma, and I'm sure that works for a lot of people, but it doesn't resonate with me, and so that goes against what a lot of people like. I think the basis of EFT, which I think is a great tool, tapping, but I don't believe in that part of it. So I think that's awesome. I love what you're saying, because it's very new. It's very now. It's very what's happening in our world right now. We can bypass all the bullshit and just and just create our own reality and fast. I feel like things are. Oh, I can snap again. Yeah.
I understand that. I want to say on that point that there are what we in the quantum field of consciousness, all infinite possibilities exist throughout all time space. In other words, there is not one reality that does not exist. Every conceivable possibility that any human or any other being on any dimension has ever thought of exists. And they can produce different timelines. So as I am now, there is a timeline that was still me as 2 years old that was experiencing that irritation and frustration that had a relationship to me. And when I altered the symptom that had in this time space, the frustration and the rage that child and the irritation that child was feeling at mommy and daddy fighting, when I altered it here as the symptom in the body, the timeline of that 2-year-old immediately changed.
Yep. So when you change your present, you change your past.
Yeah, you change your present. You literally reorganize the past. So you don't have to go back. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of change, the kingdom of transformation is here and now. We don't have to go back. Once you change it, it's changed.
I love that. I've been saying that for a while, but that the way that you just expressed it is just so perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, because thank you. Thank you for sharing that all with us. Oh my gosh, I know we must have questions, and let me take a look. Let me see. We have a lot of comments. I wish to be live with, but that's okay. No point in wishing that. It's right here. And Lisa Pachinello says, yes, I healed my MS by setting the intention every day and imagining the cells being healed.
Yes.
Go, girl.
Yeah. It's so more, what people don't understand is when you form, that's awesome. The minute you form an idea of health and vitality, at the instant you form the idea, microscopic particles begin to organize themselves. And if you stay focused on it, then more particles begin to order themselves. And the more you stay, the more it happens. And the more energy you put towards it, the more energy begins to the more matter begins to organize itself around your emotion. Emotion is the 5th state of energy that you are able to direct. So when you begin to use emotion, you're organizing matter. And all matter is a product of emotion. All action in the human realm is a product of emotion. There is no human behavior that can occur without an emotion behind it. So emotion directs matter. And the soul, you as an awareness, can direct emotion. And once you understand that you can direct emotion as an awareness, now you become the creator of conditions by using energy directly to alter conditions in time-space.
Say the last part again. I was looking at the next question because I don't want to miss what you're saying. Go ahead, please.
Once you realize that you as an awareness are able to direct emotional energy, you suddenly move into a position where you're actually beginning to organize matter in time-space from a position of awareness or creation.
Because you're aware of it. You're aware that you can do that. I'm aware that I can heal myself. I'm aware that I'm already healed.
Yeah,
so
a lot of people everybody takes it for granted that they can open and close their hands. They can walk down the street. We can talk. We can do things out there. But very few people are aware that they have the same level of relationship and ability to alter their heart, their kidneys, their liver, their lungs, their bladder, their veins, their arteries. All of those things can come under your control as an awareness too, once you understand the principle that it's just a matter of developing the awareness, like you had to develop the awareness as a child to do that. You have to develop the awareness that, I can slow my heart rate down. I can actually direct the consciousness of the body to produce the right amount of insulin. And it's based on a feeling. A feeling always organizes matter. Emotion organizes form. There's no exception to that.
I love that. Okay,
I got a whole bunch of questions popping up now too, suddenly.
Oh my God, now they're coming up. But before we go there, I have to ask you this because it's like burning. So I would like for you to speak to there's so many people they've been given a diagnosis and they call it chronic, and they've been told there's no cure for it, and they've been dealing with this for decades, maybe even a whole lifetime. I'm going to just give it to you. You know where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah. First of all, for those of you that are in that process, you have my greatest compassion and heartfelt love, because you're in a great opportunity of learning that can liberate you from this world in ways that you cannot imagine. But once you start to apply a very simple process, a very simple formula of recognizing your emotion is your energy in motion, you get to it is infinite spirit available to all of us. And if you're in a long-term chronic pain, then you don't want to try and get rid of the pain. You want to engage it from a vibrational perspective of love. And I'll tell you something, there is not one person listening here or in this planet that if I ask them, what does love feel like to you? There's not one person on the planet that wouldn't have some idea of what love would feel like to them. And from that perspective, when you can access a feeling of love, that's when you can use that energy to begin to interact with your chronic condition with that and produce a very different effect in it. So instead of going, oh, this back pain is killing me, you're suddenly going, oh, there's that back. I'm going to give this back pain a vibration of love. And I'm going to stay with that. And you'd be amazed. I cannot tell you how many times I've witnessed in front of my very eyes people literally transform their pain in a second because they just turned around and said, I'm going to give it love instead of getting angry with it or being annoyed or frustrated. Here we go again. You know, a lot of people get up in the morning and look for their pain and their suffering. Stop doing that. Get into a place where when you identify your pain, it's a part of you that's in pain. Give it love. Don't drug it. Don't pill it. Give it the love, a vibration. It's in you. You are love. And when you start to give that to any pain in your body, it will automatically begin to change. You'll feel it. I promise. If you stay with that vibration, it will begin to change. Much the same way as I can turn to my body and say, jump up and down. It has no choice. It'll do it for me because it knows I love it. Yeah. And if you're saying your body, if you're saying your pain in your hand, I love you. I'm going to take good care of you. And I'll make sure I'll even give you some apple cider vinegar tonight to alter the displaced calcium in there. So there's all kinds of things you can begin to engage. But every single person watching this, every person on this planet, if you can access a vibration of love consciously and begin to nurture that vibration and impart it to the parts of your body, the parts of your inner emotion that are suffering, you start to say to that party that's feeling angry inside, hey, I know you're really angry, but I'm willing to love you. Even if I don't understand why you're angry, I love you. And the more you do that, the more that energy begins to change. As I said earlier, think of that anger or that pain as a glass of water. When you start directing love at that glass of water, it changes. You put this water in the freezer, the water will change to ice. I don't care how many glasses of water you put in the freezer, whether it's blue water or green water or yellow water or white water, you put it in the freezer, it's going to freeze. That's the law. Well, when you start to use a vibration of love and you start to direct that consistently at anything, it begins to reorganize whatever you're directing that love towards to become the vibrational frequency of love. And that is really the most effective starting point to begin to articulate a way of dealing with your chronic pain. If you're wanting to choose another route other than the route of pills and drugs, those can be very handy. Like I said, when I jumped off that fence and my foot exploded into 4 pieces and all those things, I needed that Demerol to settle the pain down so I could get my mind focused to do the healing process. So there are times when those things are useful, but there are times too when you get adept enough that you can turn around and go, and it'll change instantly.
Wow. Fantastic. All fantastic. All right. Yeah, I'm just so the only it's not the okay. Let me see. Do I want to go there, Spirit? Okay. So I guess I kind of do, because I really want to hear your perspective on this, where some people are very they define themselves by their illness. They define themselves by their pain and the illness that they've had for so many years, and they don't even. I feel like they don't even know who they would be without it. And how do you speak to that?
Wow! Again, that's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking. And what I say to them is it when something becomes very familiar to us, even if it's bad, we want to hold on to it, because if that's all you know. It's like, where are you without it? But I'll tell you something, the minute you begin to transform any pain, something else in your world is going to start to happen. The minute you're willing to give up your suffering, you invite something else to occur. And I know, believe me, I was a drug addict for a number of years. I was an alcoholic for a number of years. I know how important my suffering was to me because it helped me to not feel other pain by doing that. So once you go to the place where you're willing to start giving up your suffering. Once you're willing to start doing that, you're going to start inviting something else to start occurring in your life. But again, that's all I can say. Like, I'm not in your life, but the minute you start making a choice that you're going to change that, you're going to love that suffering, by loving it, you'll get rid of it.
I wrote down what you said, willing to give up your suffering. That's profound, William. When you're finally, or we're not finally, I'm just going to paraphrase a little bit, but basically when you're finally ready and you're willing to give up your suffering, then you can heal. I think that's like the first step, right? But you have to be willing to give it up.
Yeah. Well, the other side of that too is, remember, your body, if you're attached to suffering in your body, then you believe you're a body. And your body is very instinctual. And the body is based on a simple mechanism called fight or flight, pain or pleasure. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we get attached to our pain as being part of our identity. So now we get the pleasure of our suffering because we're used to it. And the body doesn't know anything else. The minute you start to change it, the minute you start to move away from your suffering, the body tries to go back to it because that's what it's familiar with. It feels safe there. It feels safe with that bottle of alcohol because it knows what's going to happen. When the body, being an instinctual instrument, it responds to things from instinct. So it likes to know what's going to happen. At least I know if I drink alcohol, that's going to happen. It knows that. So it's predictable reality. And when you stop giving up bad habits, when you stop giving up your suffering, you move away from a predictable reality that your body's used to. And so your body wants to go back. And you can say to your body, no, we're going to take you to a brand new life now. And I can tell you, I've done this, where I've actually, no, we're not going to go back to suffering. We're going to keep going this way. And the body's saying, but no, I want that drug. I want that thing. No, I want you to be happy. I promise you, this is unfamiliar, but you'll be safer and happier if we go this way. But we're going to eat more living food. We'll feel better. But I feel better with that sweet stuff. No, you'll feel better. I know it's hard, but I literally had to retrain my body to be the way I want it to be. And because your body's an animal body, it has to be trained. You literally have to retrain your body. Nobody will do it for you, and it won't do it for you. You have to train your body, and it will fight you because it wants to stay in a familiar reality, even if it's really uncomfortable. It wants to stay with what is familiar because it can be predictable. The body likes a predictable reality. You're a dynamic being. You don't need a predictable reality. So you want to train your body back to being subjective to you rather than being in control of you. I hope that answers your question.
Brilliant. Oh my God, that was just profound. Thank you. Profound wisdom. Love it so much. Oh my God, that's Perfect. So Morning Lynn is saying, and I can actually bring it up on screen. I'm a retired nurse, and I have seen so many cases. It's so very sad. Okay, so I think let me see, do we have, so if you want to ask some questions, you can do it now, because I can bring it up on the camera and on the screen, but you know what I'm saying, the words. I can bring the words. Marnie's saying, that's like the Munchausen by proxy parents do with children. It's interesting, because I used to focus on that. Because they're telling them that they're sick. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because they're telling them that because my mother was kind of like that, honestly. So yeah. So before I was awake, I actually had I used to have I have about 160 videos on YouTube that nobody's ever going to see, because I hid them all because they're about subjects that don't resonate with me. That's one of them. It's interesting that but I thought but I see what you're saying, because the parent tells the child that the child is sick, and then the child grows up believing that they're sick. I think sometimes also people that because I too have also been addicted to like painkillers or whatever in my life. And, but I remember, I actually consciously remember saying to myself, well, I have this pain, because if I didn't have the pain, why would I be taking the painkiller? So for myself, that I had to be doing the right thing, I had to say, well, of course it hurts a lot, that's why I'm taking it.
Yes.
But but like you said, we have to be willing to give up the suffering.
Yep.
And willing to give up whatever it is that you're using to get rid of the suffering, because honestly, that's just causing you more suffering.
Yep. But when we create a coping mechanism like alcohol or drugs or painkillers, when we create that, and that gives us some relief, it makes us feel better. And we don't want to give up that little bit of relief, because we don't know of anything else. And once you understand that you can actually create a higher state of being very simply and elegantly, with a bit of time and patience, you can create any state you want in your body. You really can. A lot of people don't know that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So Danielle is saying to William, any message from Jesus for us?
Oh, wow. That's a great request. Thank you. Let me just see. The first thing I'm getting is deep excitement and gratitude that you have all chosen to open your hearts and your minds to that which you truly are, the love that is who we all are. If you are willing to breathe, even in this moment, and feel that light within your chest, through your breath, and remember that life that is what we are. If you wish to rise above the positions of limitation, go here into this place, this now place, and be free of what was in the present moment. This is where all that you could ever hope for, and wish for is in this place, in here. But he's saying something for you specifically, that there's something behind you that you have to let go of. Let go. He's saying let go. It's something about a male figure, to let go of him. To let go of him, lovingly let go of him, so you can move forward more freely.
Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, William. Thank you, Danielle, for your beautiful question. And that was a beautiful answer as well. Kim Siegel is saying, I am feeling immediate relief in my back right now.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, right on.
You go, girl. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, our body is always listening to us. People don't realize your body is listening to every thought you have. I knew this guy named Jean-Guy Morin many years ago, and he used to walk around saying, oh, so-and-so is a pain in the ass, and they're a pain in the ass, and they're a pain, and he ended up getting rectal cancer.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The body reacts to whatever energy we focus on. It doesn't think. It can't reason. Your body cannot reason. It can only respond and react to the information going into it. So that's an example where people go, my back's killing me today, and sure enough, the pain increases. But your body's always in. It's the same thing. You go, wow, I love my body. What a beautiful instrument of divine light and love. It'll feel it. It'll hear it. It's always listening to us. Always.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I love that. And I was going to put up Marnie's question on the computer, but then as soon as Jesus spoke to Danielle, she said, that's the answer to my question. Cool. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So now Nicole John is asking, can you reverse allergic reaction to medication? I think you mean medication, right?
Wow. Wow, that's a great question. I get an immediate yes, absolutely. Understanding that the reaction is a response of an energy in the body that perceives this as foreign to what it would naturally do on its own. If you wish to correct this reaction, it is your emotional response to this reaction that must be corrected first. Correct your emotional response to the reaction, and the body will adjust to the response that you have corrected. I hope you understand that. Change the emotional response you have to the reaction, and the body will feel the change in your response and will react to the different reaction of your reaction.
I'm mostly getting that. Sometimes I just have to let things wash over me. But so I hope that answers your question, Nicole. That's awesome. Sometimes
I had a woman. I knew a woman who had chronic grass allergies, and I met her on a golf course of all places.
Okay.
And what ended up happening is I had her. Her nose was running and her eyes were watering, and I said to her, "Give love to the symptoms you're having. Give love to the symptoms. Feel joy towards them. Tell them thank you for taking care of you, and then give love and gratitude to the grass." And literally within 2 minutes, her nose stopped running, her eyes cleared up, and she's going, "I can breathe. I can breathe." All she changed is the way she was interacting with the responses of her body that her body was having to the pathogens of the grass. Right?
I love that.
What do you think of those who are unwittingly addicted
to the fear of getting sick?
I'm looking at this question from Wallace Brown. What do you think of those?
I can't.
What do I think of those who are unwittingly addicted to the fear of? Yeah, there's a lot happening. We're really busy online now. We got a lot of people coming up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Understand, if you can get them to give love to their fear, to actually embrace their fear and let their fear know, they'll take care of it. It's perfectly safe at all times. Actually have them talk to their fear like that. I will take care of you. I will love you. They'll feel an immediate change. Most people react when they experience a vibration like fear or anger. Most people react to it. Very few people stop and approach it with a vibration of love and compassion. But if you saw a child on the ground that was afraid or terrified, you wouldn't go over and kick the child for being afraid. You'd go over and give it, "It's okay, I love you, I'll take care of you, you're safe here." Well, why not treat yourself that way when you're in a state of fear? You get a person to treat themselves the way they treat a child that was afraid, they'll feel an immediate change in the energy. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen that.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Thank you for that. Great question,
Wallace. A lot?
Mm-hmm. Say that again. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Are you getting a lag from me?
Yes.
Are you getting a lag from me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that's happening. I think the internet is exploding with us with joy and vitality.
I think we have a lot of energy coming in right now. I can see the shifts around you, and it's fabulous. It'll be fine. I'll just stop talking. When I stop, I'll just wait for you to answer. Sometimes it just works that way. So, but we have another question I just saw a moment ago that Jennifer Culp Martin is asking. How can you help kids with ADHD? I'm going to run and grab some water, and I'm going to give that question to you. Okay.
Yep. Go ahead. Well, that's a great question. Again, please understand, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a medium and a medium and an intuitive life coach. And please understand that ADHD, basically attention deficit hyper disorder, means the kids got a lot of energy. Their energy is everywhere. You teach a child that's got ADHD to breathe and feel what their body does when they breathe. Get them to breathe and feel what their body does when they exhale. Get them to pay attention to what happens in their body when they breathe and exhale. Because once they get their awareness, it becomes aware of a shift in the body. So you have them breathe slowly and deeply and have them pay attention to how the body feels when they exhale. And have them do that 4 or 5 times, and you'll see an immediate change, experience immediate change. Because whenever you exhale, doesn't matter who you are, whenever your body exhales, it automatically relaxes. It's an automatic hardwired program response. So whenever you exhale, tension is immediately released from the body. So the hyper energy begins to relax. You're actually you're actually teaching the child to alter the neurology of their body just by breathing. And they'll feel an immediate relaxation. And they have to do that 4 or 5 times and get them to get experience with changing their state. Because what happens with most kids is the adult, the kid change or modify their behavior. But if you start teaching the child to do simple things that they can experience from within themselves to know what is true, you'll be quite pleased with the result. And so will they, because once they can experience their body relaxing and their energy relaxing just by the breathing process, you will empower that child to have a little bit more awareness that they can alter what they feel. Because that's what you got to teach your children, that they can control what they feel. Yeah. That they have that in there, that they have it within them to do that. We all do. So do that. Have them breathe slowly and deeply, and you'll be amazed at what they'll experience. Not about getting them to experience. They will experience. Just have them breathe and ask them to feel what happens when they exhale. Feel what happens when they exhale. And please let Megan know or email me. Let us know what your results are from that, because I'm always excited about what happens when people empower their children to create and utilize their own energy instead of being controlled and manipulated from the outside. We're at a time we're meant to become powerful from the inside out, not to be controlled and manipulated from the outside in. We are awakening our inner giant.
Absolutely.
Great question, by the way.
It's a great question. And I found something out personally, and this was like years ago when I first started awakening and transforming my life. I started out with guided meditations. That was like my first step. And then and I met a woman whose son was labeled with this, and the husband and the wife, they just really focused on that label. But I actually said to her, well, why don't you try the guided meditation? Literally they couldn't stop the child from like being like running around until he started listening to the guided meditation. When it really worked. Although they didn't seem to like that because they were used to the sameness of things. But that really did work though. So I think that's, sometimes that might be another option too. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know, Jennifer. Let us know.
That's a beautiful meditation. Please.
I know, because I used to use guided meditations in the very beginning before I did meditation, where I sit down and like for an hour and just let my mind go. Before I could do that, when I was coming out of like a lot of trauma for years, I wasn't able to do that yet, and so I needed somebody else's words. But I was very mindful of whose words I was listening to. I became very not close. I don't even know him, but I mean, Michael Seeley on YouTube has beautiful guided meditations. I would listen first and make sure that the words resonated with my soul, and then I would relax and then allow myself to be guided. And I really recommend that for anybody who's ever, make sure that the message resonates with you, and then relax. And I think guided meditations are sometimes the best way. And
we do guided meditations every Saturday on our program, Supernatural Saturday. We do guided meditation every Saturday. That's a summary of the previous week's activities. We do a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live event at 10 a.m. Called Shortcuts for Your Soul. And then on Saturday, all the guided information that we receive from our guides and angels there gets rolled into a meditation to integrate those vibrations and frequencies into our own bodies and minds and into our world. It's very powerful.
So yeah, let everybody know. I mean, can you stay till 9? Would that be? I mean, do you
yeah,
have enough time?
I'm totally dope with this. I can feel it. I don't know. You got some great people here. We got some amazing masters and beings around us right now. I I don't know who this is, but like they're like saying like the vibrations and energies that are being generated in this event alone is hooking up with many others that are occurring simultaneously around the world. There is a principle that if you allow yourself to feel the space above your head, we will download into you what you are ready to receive at this time. They're saying the space above your head, about 8 inches. Just be mindful of that space and just feel the energy of that space while we go on with this. So be mindful. There are these beings that are trying to download information into all of us. And this is happening globally, not just in the shows, but globally. So just be mindful that's occurring right now.
I love that. Is that when my ears are itching? I have this weird thing, and I literally, when I went to get the water, I'm like, Spirit, I don't have itchy ears. But since like the crop circle time, since the beginning of the thing, first one ear and then the other ear, I'm like, am I picking up somebody's ear itching? But no, I feel like they're trying to tell me something. I feel like I'm. So is it? I'm wondering. Let me just ask you.
That's a great question.
What do you think?
One of the ways guides and angels, especially for people learning to tap into their guides, their angels, the multidimensional beings, their family members that aren't in form anymore. They can only reach you through the channels that are available to you. So if you're open, you might get itchy ears, you might feel heat, you might feel cold, you might suddenly get a tickle in your back. They'll approach you, you'll become aware of them in a way that you're able to receive. They can't get through to you and where you're closed. They can get through to you where you're aware. Some people might get ringing in their ears. Other people might get flashing lights. Other people might get a giddy feeling. It's unique and distinct depending upon what you're open to allowing. But they're always trying to. So the question I would ask you is what the vibration, the tingling in your ears, what does it feel like if you could turn those vibrations of tingles into words? What would those words say?
They're talking about the crop circle. I feel like there's a message that they want me to pull it back up on the screen, and that they want you to tune in and give a message. It's connected to this. That's really what I feel.
Wonderful. It's funny because I get it is time for each of you to find the center of your being. You have spent, some of you, many lifetimes being disconnected from your center in this world of sensation. And it is time to bring yourself inward again, to not be governed by the information of your senses, but by the information of your soul, to allow that which you are to be articulated as the expression through form, rather than seeking the satisfaction of your senses as a medium exclusively for creating experience. The body that you're in is always temporary, but your awareness as soul is eternal. Go inward. Go to this place in the high temple, into the high temple, and feel the light that you are there. Do not let your senses distract you from what you know in your own heart to be real. This world is temporary. You are eternal. Go within and feel the essence of your being within. They're saying you may define the vibration in language that will be suitable to your mind, for your mind will need to understand that which you can feel. You may define it as love, or you may define it as light, or as wisdom or truth. You may receive also very specific and precise information from us and from your own soul and your own source. But there is this configuration of energy within you that you now must turn your attention to and allow. It's very, again, I'm getting like a center point, and these like almost like a wheel of, it's hard to describe, but it's like a center core and these lines coming off it that's actually spinning. It's a crystalline structure. They're saying it's deep within our DNA matrix. You're tapping into the awareness of your awareness, and distancing yourself in that process from your senses will allow you to feel that of which we speak at this time. But you cannot know from your senses that which is true beyond your senses. It is through your awareness, the place within that you are, that you can know these vibrations and frequencies that you may allow into your world. As we have put this vibrational frequency into the architecture of your planet, and as are many others doing this, these are frequencies will organize you when you allow them, for you are that which we are also. So I'm getting very strongly that, again, that space about 8 inches above the head, and really allowing yourself to feel that, not as a sight, sound, touch, but as a vibration, to really allow this to come down. It's funny, when you start to allow, I get this vibration like a drop of water hitting a clear pond and just radiating out in all directions. And when we allow that vibration to unfold within us, it gives us the opportunity to reorganize what we can express here and get beyond being directed by matter to directing matter, to creating experience rather than being subjective to it. But yeah, thank you very much for putting that up there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And now my ears don't itch anymore. That's what it was. I'm like, Spirit, I never had this before. So what are you, they say the crop circle, bring the crop circle.
Cool.
Thank you. And I'm going to listen to that again later, because I was also, you know what I mean? I have a lot of times I have to like wash over me. You know what I mean? And then you get it. You understand.
Oh, yeah,
and
I totally get it.
I want to share with you guys. I mean, in case you're wondering, like, oh, how come they understand everything, and some maybe you don't feel like you do. It doesn't happen that way. Not for me. I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I have to let information wash over me, whether it's from Spirit directly or whether it's from another medium, channeling. I don't know which word to use, mediating spirit or whatever it is. If you don't like, even times I listen to Abraham. You guys know that I listen to Abraham all the time and cry on. Sometimes I just let the stuff wash right over me. And when I'm ready, it just becomes part of who I am.
Yeah.
If you try to force it and think about it really hard, you're going to just boggle your mind, because your mind has nothing to compare it to. How would you describe that experience?
Well, that's interesting. Once you become aware of a sensation that's different than what you normally experience as an energy, the minute you become aware of that sensation as an energy, you might not know what it is, but the minute you become aware of it, when you start to focus on it, your focus of that which you're focusing on begins to become organized. And as you continue to give it attention, it begins to connect to you. You begin to actually, it's like you're looking through a pair of binoculars, and you adjust the focus, and all of a sudden it gets clear. So when we're focusing on something, there's a different frequency within us, we're actually beginning to tune into a vibration that we need to tune into. And so focus organizes what it is you're looking at. That's the only way I can put that. So like when you tuned into the tingling of your ears, that as you focused on it more, it suddenly became organized into the image and information to put up the crop circle. And then I
see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah. And then when you said to me, can you tap into a message? I could feel that energy coming down, and I tap into it, and that becomes organized as I give it attention. Our attention organizes matter, right? Because that's what we are. We're creator beings. We organize matter with our attention, right?
Yes. And as you were speaking, I opened up my, I did that. I opened up my, which I'm always open, especially when I'm doing this show, because I'm always receiving. But I literally felt it. I felt the energy over my head. I felt the download pouring, and I physically felt it because my attention was there. And I love that feeling. I love feeling energy,
Yeah, one of the beautiful things about technology is technology is now allowing us to measure energy fields. 20, 30 years ago, they could not measure how wide the energy around the body can go. I mean, your body is an electromagnetic instrument. When we draw a breath in, we're actually moving electrons into our body through our breath. When you move electrons through a conductive surface, they create a magnetic field. So when you're breathing in and breathing out, you're generating a field that radiates out. An electromagnetic field radiates out. And when you start to become aware that you generate a field, you're generating a field just by breathing. And now they can measure that what we think and what we feel alters what matter's doing. We can measure the changes in the field now, not just in the body. And you can expand the field of your body out as far as 16 feet, where you can actually feel that wall. You can actually feel the energy of the wall that's 15 feet back to my right, and I can feel the texture. I can feel the actual vibration of the molecules there. You can get so sensitive that you're not using your physical senses. You're using your awareness as a medium of consciousness to tap into different wavelengths of matter, whether it's a door or a cloud or a fish in the sea. You can move your awareness any point of time and space and tune into what's there. It's really cool. But yeah, we can see that now. We can measure.
That really resonates with me. I never heard it described like that, but it's basically what I do. How I do what I do. I just expand my awareness. I expand it, and I just connect with everybody. This is weird. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the sky. There was supposed to be a storm, but of course there is no storm here tonight. We're in Florida, and there's no storms here because we have high vibrations. Everybody, high vibrations. Really high vibrations. Oh my gosh! So I love that Jude Haggerty is saying, I see white light around him. I see that very often around you. It's the most incredible thing. And I've always seen that around you, which is why I was so drawn to you a couple of years ago when you were just graduating the channeling course. I'm like, oh, this guy's special. There's something really special about this gentleman.
Well, it takes one to know one, right? And you if you see it, you be it. Right?
Thank you.
Right.
Let's see. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sure you do. All right. So I feel like Danielle was fielding some questions. Was there a question, Danielle, that somebody had? Because she was saying that she'll see if something is allowed. So I don't really know what she's asking, or what somebody's asking. Let's see.
Oh, I'm seeing a question here from Veronica that was very fascinating too.
Okay. Is this one, the long one?
Oh, yes, that's it. What a coincidence. We both saw the same question at the same time. Isn't that amazing? Talk about being in
spirit.
I gotta love that. So she's saying, I lost my son 2 years ago.
We did Om together.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's normal too. Once you're in harmony, it's the way the body works. The body's like that all the time. However, since his passing, I pain in my joints. I do not take meds for. I do concentrate on holistic. Again, when I tune into his energy, he's actually. I don't know why, but you're actually feeling his energy because he's still trying to be energetically close to you. You're actually feeling the energy of his spirit within your joints. I'm getting from him that the departure was not one he was quite emotionally prepared for, but you can tune into the pain, tune into the pain in your joints. Recognize it as the vibrational essence of your son's soul still bonded with you in time space. Give the love, the joy, the gratitude you feel now for your son still being, for he is not gone, he is still being. And in acknowledging his being here and now, the pain will leave because you believe in an illusion that he is lost and he is not. Believe that he's present with you, feel him, and extend the love and gratitude of his presence with you. The pain will be gone once you acknowledge his presence with you. It will not mean that he departs from you, but you will no longer be feeling the pain of the denial of his existence, for he does not exist. He exists with you now, and he's wanting you to acknowledge his presence because it's very painful to be ignored. Yeah.
Wow.
So please, Veronica, take a moment and feel all that pain. And it's your son. It's the only way he knows how to connect you because he's feeling separated. It's not a natural feeling. And extend your love and grace to him. Let him know now that you know that he still exists in time space and in non-time space. Feel your love towards him. Every part of that pain, communicate your love to that consciousness, which is your son. And please let us know what happens.
Yes, please definitely. Thank you for that question, Veronica, and thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. And thank you, William. That was
great question. Yeah.
Let's see. We do have. Where was it? I just saw a question. Let's see if we say it at the same time again. Probably. Oh, Marnie says she's in Orlando. Well, I'm just outside of Orlando, Marnie. And there's a cool looking sky out there, but no storm, honey. No storm at all. Yeah. We have beautiful weather here in Florida.
Wow.
Oh, I hear your puppy.
Yeah, that's little Tika. She sees energy all the time. She'll be looking in corners when my guides and angels are around. She'll actually look up where I actually feel them, and she'll sit and she'll just look. So they all respond differently, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I've got 2 dogs and 2 cats that live inside, and then the one outside who's just adopted me. But anyway, yeah, totally. Because my one cat, Chevy Boo, oh, he's so sensitive. He's like that child that's just like kind of out there, like, wow, I see stuff over there and over there. Oh my God! But they're all, animals. They're just the best.
I noticed a question from somebody named Marnie who's requesting a message from her spirit guide, and again, there's a Marnie. There's a vibration that you're holding up in your right shoulder area of anger and bitterness that you need to let go of. This is somewhere 8 or 10 years ago where this originated. So you want to really get into that place of just really letting that go, whatever that is. But yeah, it's saying to let go of that, to let go. You don't need that anymore. Be now. It's the upper right shoulder, kind of like under the shoulder blade, between the spine and the shoulder blade in there. But let that go. That's anger and bitterness from some event about 10 years ago. Let it go. You don't need it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And Marnie is saying, oh my God, yes. Yes. Absolutely. Let's see. Now, Stephanie Gay is asking for a message from her son. Is that something that you're receiving? Oh, let's see.
The first words that come to me is because whenever somebody does that, it just comes to me. The words "oh goody," the words "oh goody" coming through. And again, I don't know why they're using that term, but it's "oh goody." Something about Oreo cookies. I don't know what it is, but something about Oreo cookies. Something about the sweetness. But yeah, something about Oreo cookies. I don't know what it is, but something about Oreo cookies. You have to do something about Oreo cookies. I don't know what that will mean to you, but he's communicating that something about Oreo cookies, and that's something for you. You'll understand that. I don't know what that means, but that's what he's communicating. Something about Oreo cookies. It's really funny.
I love that. Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
yeah, it's amazing to not be attacked. I mean, we all have access to these dimensions. Every single soul on this planet has access to it, but we have to cultivate the awareness of that access. It's like if I said to somebody right now, what is the mathematical formula that defines how the universe came into existence? And there is an actual mathematical formula. And I had a friend of mine show that to me one day, but nobody knows that. And if you don't know the formula, it wouldn't mean anything to you. It's like if I said to you, tell me, what comes to your mind when I say the word ornithorhynchus? What is an ornithorhynchus? What comes to your mind? And the vast majority of people go, what? Ornithorhynchus? Because there's no, something about that. And that's what the brain does. It tries to get what it thinks it can, but everybody knows. Everybody actually knows what an ornithorhynchus is. But if you don't have a frame of reference in your system, you can't perceive it. But if I told you that the ornithorhynchus is also known as the duck-billed platypus,
I was right. That's something to do with a bird. Okay, and a duck-billed platypus. That's cool.
And you can see how your brain automatically goes, yeah, I know that, right?
Yes.
And so
I'm a trivia person. I like that game, so I get that. So my brain's
tapping,
like,
so tapping into guides and angels is like that. You've got to build a framework of reference so that you can reconnect to what that is already natural to you. You actually know that guides and angels and multidimensional beings exist. You already know there's a divine creator. You already know that you're a sentient, immortal, eternal soul. But you don't have a framework in your mind and body to let you reconnect to that consciously. So you want to build a framework through experience, which is why we do the courses and classes we do, to train people to reconnect to a framework outside of what they think they know. So they actually get to experience what they really know. It's very fascinating.
Let's talk about that, because I feel like I want everybody to know exactly where they can find you, and about your show, and about your courses that you have up, and everything. Tell them everything, because I know they're going to be like, we've got to find him everywhere. And I do have all your links in the description, but I want to make sure that you tell everyone personally, please.
So we were guided to create a mediumship course. It's a 3-level program called Mediumship 101, Mediumship 102, Mediumship 103. One's a beginner's course, one's an intermediate course, one is an advanced course. Each course is structured to get you in touch to your awareness of how you perceive non-physical energies, the guides, angels that are around you all the time. How do you feel them, sense them? We introduce that process in the level 1 program. In the level 2 program, we instruct you on how to release from your mind your attachment to past suffering, how to actually let go of emotions that no longer serve you. Because once you start releasing negative emotions, once you start connecting to these higher vibrational beings, you want to start organizing yourself into a higher vibrational state. So when you start releasing anger and pain and transforming that energy, you raise your vibration. And then we introduce you in the beginner's course, we introduce you to high vibrational foods, how to change the food you're putting in your body, how to release things that no longer serve the vibrational nature of who you are as a soul. As a soul and a body that's working through a body, there are certain things that enhance your body's ability to be a finer instrument for perception. And there's things that inhibit your body's ability to be a fine instrument of perception. And so we teach you, we introduce you to high vibrational foods, high vibrational thinking, and then practicing with other students, practicing one-on-one with teachers every single day for a 3-week period, learning how to actually know that you know what you know. And we do that. We're starting September the 5th is when we start this first course. You can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and all of the information's there on the course, the class, the information, all that information's there.
I'm sure Danielle's putting that on the screen now. I'm not on the screen, but in the comments. So thank you, Danielle. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that's one facet of what but we also have our daily show, which is like you. We have a free offering that we do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we channel divine messages and we offer information and inspiration to people. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or same time as you, Eastern Standard Time, I believe. And then we do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then on Saturday, we do a Supernatural Saturday. And the goal we've been given is to bring about the manifestation of our awareness of the divine self, to literally bring the energy of soul into conscious, deliberate physical manifestation to facilitate integration at a higher level of all humanity. As you know, we're in this process of ascension. And ascension is about literally, like when you start your show off, that really, I got to say, when you say raising the vibration, that completely epitomizes what is happening on a human collective consciousness scale. Yeah. And the work that we do and the guides and angels that are here to work with all of us are in that process of literally raising our vibration so that we're not subjective to matter anymore. Yeah. So we actually get to create experience rather than being subjective to matter. And it's a very exciting time. So we do that. And again, I do personal private readings too. If anybody wants a private reading, they can go to my website and find out about that. But we are in amazing times, and every single person knows it, even if they don't understand it. I mean, even people walking down the street that are afraid of the virus, there's a part of them that knows something really different's going on. There's a change happening. And that change is human consciousness is breaking free from its subjectivity to matter. And we're becoming liberated in consciousness to be everything that we can possibly want to be and do as a spirit, as a being. And that means we get to change matter. We get to heal in a whole new way. You know? As you know from your experience, the power and the energy of changing what you think and feel and how it affects your body. Absolutely. Now imagine if everybody on the planet could just think the thought, I'm in joy, and the body aligns itself to that in an instant. And it does. If you go, woohoo, your body aligned itself to that energy. And now we are here, all of us, many of us are here to bring everybody to that conscious awareness that's what everyone can do essentially. So yeah, I invite you to come out to our courses and classes and open up your own connectivity to your source to the divine beings that are here working with you. It's a really exciting time.
This is the time, guys. Spirit. I mean, I'm not specifically teaching it right now, but Spirit told me it's called, for me, they said it's called the intuitive development evolution. It's the exact same thing that you're teaching. And they said intuition is not just for psychics anymore. It's exactly what William is teaching. So I would definitely grab that class, because this is what Spirit wants you all to know. They gave me this information when I started High Vibrational Mastery. So this is really significant. So I'm really glad that you have that awesome course out. That's cool. That's very cool.
And that's a really great way to put it, because, you know, every single child that's born in this dimension is completely connected to source.
Yes.
What happens, we start to get information through our 5 physical senses that suddenly takes this vast infinite self that we are and localizes it down to this finite identity of this one body. But the body and mind aren't who you are. They're instruments that you are able to express through. They're not who you are. I don't know what's this going on here.
I can hear you.
Well, I know my phone just went crazy for some strange reason.
Oh,
but
okay.
that process of becoming this finite personality like William or John or Barry or Joe Beth, that's not who you are. That's the information stored in the body that's localized your awareness to a finite identity, but it is not who you are. And the minute you start to be able to break your attachment to what the world has conditioned you to think you are, you start to liberate yourself into the infinite potential that is innately available to everybody. And all the beings, all the experiences that reside outside the perception of our 5 physical senses, which is very limited. I mean, our eyes actually only pick up 1% of the visual spectrum. Our ears only hear about 1% of the sound spectrum. And so when you start to learn how to articulate your awareness to perceive higher frequencies, suddenly you got Master Buddha coming in saying, slow down, William, breathe a little slower, talk quietly. And you start to hear and you start to feel these other levels of information that are available to you outside of what you think you know.
So well said. This is so exciting. So we have just a few more minutes left, guys. So I'm going to ask you, because I can, because I'm the host and I'm allowed. I want to ask you if you have anything for me about High Vibrational Mastery, if there's anything that you're receiving specifically for me.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Your guides and the angels that are working with you are just like ecstatic with what you're doing. They're telling me that much of what I've perceived through your voice is the connection you have with them that makes you so strong on what you're doing. They're saying, continue forward. They're literally like showing me the image of a bow of a boat going through water, just cutting through whatever's in front of it. And that's exactly what you're doing. They're saying you're cutting through all the resistance. Just continue going forward. Continue going forward. They're saying there's a gateway that you're about to open up to. It's going to open up something brand new. I don't know what it is, but they're saying it's way bigger than what your mind conceive, but everything that you know is natural for you to happen.
That's I love cool. That. It's way bigger than what my mind can see, but what was the last part of that? But everything that I know everything is natural?
Yes, it's natural. When it happens, you'll know it's the natural thing to happen.
It's the natural thing to happen. I feel like I know something big is happening. I don't, it's just, I'll see, I'll know. Oh my God, that's so exciting. Thank you. Sometimes mediums go to other well, I guess I don't have to, I'm preaching to the choir here because most of my audience are also intuitives on some level of their development, so, but yeah. And you know what, it feels really good. Sometimes I find myself as a psychic and as a medium, sometimes it's always easy for me to receive spirit and tell somebody else. But when it's about me, I believe them, but sometimes like the human mind will say, are you sure about that? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I got to be honest. I still get that. Sometimes they'll give me,
okay.
They'll give me information. I'm going, what? They'll be saying things to me. And I'm going, really? And yet they've never ever been wrong. That just blows my mind. They've never been wrong, in spite of my own uncertainty. Because there is a learning curve you go through. It's like, you go to grade school, you got to learn what 2 + 2 is. I remember the first time the teacher held up 2 apples and said, 2 apples plus 2 apples is 4 apples. I remember going, what? I remember being in grade 1 going, what? How can that be? Right?
I love
You go
that.
through a process of experience that suddenly one day you go, yeah, there are angels. I can feel them. You know, it's experience, really. Ultimately, that's what you're saying. It's experience.
Wow. I don't even want this show to end. This is so great.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that fun when that happened? And what happened is the time went by so fast.
I
And
know
they
it's 2 hours too.
Yeah, they always tell me, they say, when you go into a higher vibrational state, you'll get more time in less space. And I said, what do you mean by
Yes.
that? More time in less space. They said, time goes by faster because your awareness is embracing more of itself. You're expanding more. So you experience more time, and it seems it's gone by faster, but you've just embraced more. So you've gotten more time in less space. It's amazing. So
No, I mean,
your
I know
joy.
that I'm aware that it happens all the time, but I never intuited the details like you just did.
Your
Okay, so
joy, your joy expands your awareness, so time goes by
right.
faster because you're expanded more. So in my body, I measure time this way, but when I expand my awareness, time changes, and we're in a higher vibrational state of joy. All of us are. So the time just goes by like that because we incorporate more of it into our awareness because we're expanded beyond the moment. We're incorporating. I'm trying to find language to things that I just know. But
I understand.
that's why time goes by faster when you're in a state of joy, because you experience more of it in less time. I know it sounds contradictory, but it's actually not.
I get it. Thank you. So I also want to make sure that you guys know that William has an amazing YouTube channel. So you can also find him on YouTube. You're on Facebook and on YouTube 4 times a week. Is that right? You 3 times plus the
Yes,
guided meditation on Saturdays.
yeah, my YouTube channel is William Michael Forbes on YouTube. And like I said, we're live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we do Q&A, and we bring information through and whatever they've asked us to put out. And then we got a Saturday show as well. They can find me on Facebook. I actually have a group on Facebook that you might be interested in looking at. We got a group called 1 Billion Strong that my guardian angel John told us to start almost 9 months ago. And he said, I want to start this group because what happens is people need to be aware that they affect the electromagnetic energy of the planet. Literally, we are changing what's happening electrically to the planet. So he said, get everybody together into a state of love and grace twice a day at 12 noon and 12 p.m. on your own for 1 minute. Just get into a state of love and grace and be in a vibration of that and radiate that out to the whole system. And we started that 8 months ago, and literally 3 weeks after we started this process of meditation, I think we got a little over 500 people doing this in the group. And
Wow.
literally the speed at which the poles were moving at that time when we began was 34 miles an hour. The poles began to slow down to 25 miles an hour, the movement of the poles. And then the ozone hole in South America, in South Antarctica, suddenly closed up in about the 4th or 5th week.
Yes.
We interact with this planet electrically. Every one of us, every life form on this planet is an electrical expression of energy. And so you get into a state of love and grace, it's going to organize this material world very different than the vibration of fear. And they told me that humanity has been struggling with an imbalance between fear and love. And we got to correct that to maintain a balance of energy literally in the planet. So we're again moving onto a state of love. So you can join the group 1 Billion Strong. We'd love to have you there. I also have another group which is more less focused, because that's focused on really helping us organize the global electric circuit and the relationship we have electrically to all the other planets and stars. And then I got an more open group, Soul Evolution, where people are just sharing their insight and inspiration. But the YouTube channel is where you're going to learn the most and experience the most and grow the most. And again, I hope if you're listening, come out to the mediumship course, which starts in September. It will blow your mind. It's going to change your life. We've got students that are just blown away. So please consider that.
Thank you I just have to share this because Kelly Collins is saying all the hearts going up on my face on them, but I haven't been touching my phone. Strange. But Marnie said the same thing about like 10 minutes ago. That's that her phone is, she's like, because when you spoke with her son, I believe it was Marnie, and so I think like everybody's getting these messages now. So many people are getting these messages from spirit right now in like real time, you know?
Yes. Understand that we are not, in essence, we are one as an energy. We are in these finite forms. So remember, we are transmitting and receiving universally and simultaneously, whether you're aware of that in your body or not. That's the reality. And the command keys and codes that are being transmitted through the mechanism of the sound wave through these devices is influencing, stimulating, and affecting your body and your mind, the architecture of your whole electrical system, to be reattuned in a way that allows you to receive information slightly differently than you were before this event happened, but in a way you actually plan to do so, whether you're aware of it or not. You plan for this, right?
Absolutely.
We all plan.
Oh my gosh.
To do it. Yeah.
One last thing before you go, because like everybody's talking about, is somebody sees their dad. Is it okay? So my heart is that she knows it's her dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, he's saying he wants to just put his arms around you. He's saying, allow yourself to feel my presence. Allow yourself to feel my arms. Yes, you will feel his arms, the warmth of him around you, to know that time, that this world does not separate us. It's important you feel that. He's just saying this, and he's saying she will feel it. Don't worry. So just allow that. Just allow the awareness you have of him. Allow him to come to you. And just allow that energy to be imparted to you. It's an amazing thing when you realize that we do not die. We just simply leave a physical medium of expression. My way is if I had two radio sets right here, and they're both playing the same song, and if one of the radio sets breaks, well, just because the radio set's broken, it's still playing, so the song still plays. Just that vehicle is not there. So when you lose your body, you don't lose your being. You lose the medium of the physical mechanism of expression. And once you understand that, when somebody leaves the physical world, they haven't left being. And a lot of people make the error of thinking that somebody's died. No, somebody's left their physical medium of expression. And if you learn to attune your awareness differently than what your body is inclined to think, you can then tune back into their energy. They're not gone. You can tune in them anytime. Yes. But it's a matter of how to change your perceptual awareness to feel another presence again. They're always with you. Never not. You can never not be.
Absolutely. And everybody's saying thank you. This is amazing. And
you guys have been amazing. You've been amazing hosts. I'm so grateful that you brought me here. You got wonderful energy. The group you put together, the work you're doing on this planet is an honor and a privilege to be part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you today. And I hope to do this again soon. You're incredible. And I thank you so much. Yeah.
You're very, very welcome. I'm so grateful again. And thank you everybody for showing up and contributing your questions and your energy. And you've got a wonderful light worker community. And thank you for allowing me to be part of it tonight. I really appreciate it.
Good night, everybody. We love you guys.
Bye-bye.